Hello my fellow readers, today I'm going to be talking about a newer manga series, and that is Ossan Idol by, oh I just forgot I didn't get it, by Ichika Kino and Mochiko Mochida. And I was drawn to Ossan Idol because I love I love idols. I love idol stories. I don't know. My favorite being Uta no Prince-sama or Utapri. But, you know, I was drawn. I'm interested in the whole idol culture. I love seeing bands form and then preform. And so I was like, sure, this one seemed interesting because it's about an older gentleman in Ossan who gets drawn into the idol world. So I was like, that sounds super fun. And to a degree it was. I would say I wasn't totally swept away by Ossan Idol. It's fun, but it's not 100% engaging for me. But let me tell you a little bit more about it. So this is our main lead right here. This is Miroko Osaki. He's 36 years old, and he used to have this job at this company. And although he looks pretty good here, when he worked for the company, he was a little bit pudgier. So he was overweight, and he was a little bit teased by some of the other workers there. And in fact, they kind of acted like he didn't belong. It turns out that that company had dealings with health and fitness or diet or something, and so he didn't fit the profile. I think he was let go. I don't think he quit because he didn't fit the standards with what they were trying to sell. In his more depressed state after losing his job, he kind of becomes obsessed with idols and the world of idols, the dances, everything. And I believe one day he's watching one of the shows and they're doing this dance, and he's really drawn to the dance, and he starts trying to copy the dance. And so he ends up going to the gym, practicing dancing. He does obviously lose a lot of weight. And because if you're doing a lot of dancing, you probably will. Not always. Depends on your body and your health status. He does slim down a bit, and this world ends up being opened up to him. I don't remember how he gets oh yes I do. Never mind. I remember how he gets scouted. How could I forget? So he goes to a karaoke place on his own just to have fun, and he sets up the video to record him having fun. So he's doing a dance and he's singing along to a pop idol song. And I don't remember, I think he gets a call or something where he has to rush out. So he thinks that he is going to send the video to himself, but instead he clicks upload, so it shares it online, and his video becomes publicly viewable. He becomes an overnight internet sensation. The video goes viral, in other words, and he ends up getting scouted. The two other gentlemen on the cover become part of his team. One is kind of his trainer / support at the gym, and the other one they meet along the way, who was a former dancer who lost his job as a dancer. They're both older than he is. I think one, I can't remember if they're 40 and 42 or 41, whatever. They're both very early 40s. And they all kind of feel do I actually want to pursue this idol thing, or am I too old for that? Should I just move on? And so that's a bit of the conversation, but you know, in general, they they kind of agree to do the idol thing, at least part-time. And that's the main focus of it. Underneath that top layer, there is the niece, his niece, who, when Miroku was still heavier, there was an incident at a cafe or a restaurant where there was a guy that was being a real jerk, and Moroku steps in and he pins the guy down, and I don't know what happens with the guy after that, to be honest. But anyway, it was all observed, or maybe she was part of it, whatever, by this girl who was really impressed by him and thought he is my hero. And of course, it turns out that she's his niece and becomes involved in kind of managing the idol group. But she doesn't realize at this point that Moroku is the guy that was her hero. So there's a couple of love stories beyond Moroku and the niece. Moroku has two sisters. One is his older sister, who kind of is in a thing with him, and his younger sister, there's stuff leading up with him. So I'm like, they don't branch out too far. It's like, why not? These guys are single and we get along, why not? So there is a little romance aspect in the background, but as I was saying, it's not thoroughly enthralling or engaging. Like, I read it and I don't sit there hating it the whole time, but I'm also not like, this is so great. I don't know. I kind of would almost want to see more events and more better character interaction. I think that volume 1, I'm sort of giving this review after reading 3 volumes. So I have volumes 1 through 3. I think that volume 1 had a lot more potential than what has been drawn out of volumes 2 and 3. It almost seems like the story is dragging in volumes 2 and 3. This one I was like, okay, it really definitely has potential. Also, I think that this is a series that would be better off as a very short series, unless you are a lot better at character development and interaction. And so far, I'm not really feeling that. Like, I like when he is with the sister. I'm like, which one is he? Is he Yuichi? I think he might be Yoichi. I like when he interacts with... Yeah, so he's Yoichi. When he interacts with the older sister and their whole, like, story and backstory, I like that aspect. But I don't think it is given enough space or room to breathe. I don't know how to describe it. I just don't think the development is at peak level or where it should be. So it's kind of good if you just want something light and fluffy, but at this point, this is not something I would keep in my library or in my collection. I think I would donate this series because it's fun to read. I don't mind reading it and seeing what happens, but would I go back to it, or do I feel a strong emotional connection to it? The answer would be no, I don't. I don't see myself going back and reading this unless I absolutely had to before I read, like, the next volume. And it just hasn't pulled strongly at my heartstrings to make me say, oh, I would love to keep it. Like, if there was more of an emotional journey, and like I said, better character development, maybe. But as it stands, I'm just like, this is good, but it's not great. You know, it's a fluffy read. I didn't have to overthink, but it's not something I want to revisit. And I don't know. I'm a little sad about that because I like stories about idols. I like stories about bands. I like stories about musical theater. I like those kind of stories, but I just don't feel that with this. I feel like, yeah, the character designs are fine. So that's not a flaw. Like, if you look at any of these covers and you see the characters, it seems pretty. I would definitely give it a read, like, just by looking at these. but I just don't feel that fully developed story or a connection to it. Again, I will probably finish the series. I do kind of want to see like where the series goes. But I think in the end, this will probably be a series that gets donated, so that other people can give it a try. Maybe they would like it a lot more than I have so far. I would never discourage anybody from giving things a read. If you are also an Idol fan, you might really enjoy this. I just wish I felt things a little bit more defined, you know, where maybe it would have been nice, like, yes, there's interconnected stories, but like maybe each volume really focused on like the cover boy. So maybe this really dealt with Miroku's story, and maybe even like the potential of his relationship with Fumi, who was the niece. This one be Yoichi and the older sister, and then this one be Shiju and the younger sister, with bits, with like strings of the storylines in them, and then like it could come back to Miroku and Fumi. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what would have made it better for me. Again, it wasn't anything bad. It wasn't anything that I disliked. It just, I felt like I wanted more meat and more character development than what I got. And I've probably mentioned before, like character development and my connection to the character is essential to me. I need strong characters in order to really like the story. That's what's essential to me. And some of the other stuff in stories cannot even matter. Like literally, I don't care as long as the characters are very strong. And that seems crazy, but it's like, you know, I don't really care about this or that. I like the characters and the journey of the characters. And that goes with like, I don't care how they identify. I just want them to be strong and go through a journey that I can connect with. And yeah, because I think there's a lot of potential with Miroku, with his past. And he's someone that even heavier, like he's always had this great personality. He's always had that idol edge regardless. And so I don't know, I guess I wish that it dealt more with maybe his inner thoughts or whatever. Right now it's just kind of simple. It's like just simple. And I think some people might really appreciate that. Maybe you just want light and simple fluff. It's hard for me because I like really delving into the characters and having a strong character. So those are my thoughts. But if you want to read Ossan Idol, check it out. Don't let me dissuade you from reading it. Just know that I'm coming from a place where I love strong characters and character development, and that I didn't get this, even though I think it has potential. I didn't get it from this. I think that's enough ranting about it. That is it for this video. Until next time, bye.